The stars stretched endlessly before the UNSS Zenith as it glided through the dark expanse of space. Captain Sarah Chen stood at her command station, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display, showing their trajectory through uncharted space. At 42, she had earned her position through a combination of tactical brilliance and unwavering determination. The Zenith represented humanity's proudest achievement, a deep space vessel capable of pushing the boundaries of known space. Anomaly detected in Sector 7. Captain Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez called from his sensor station. His fingers danced across the haptic interface, bringing up detailed scans. Energy signature unlike anything in our database. Chen straightened, her attention fully focused on the readings. The Zenith had been tasked with mapping the Carina arm of the galaxy, searching for potential colony sites as Earth struggled with its growing population. An unknown energy signature could mean anything from a natural phenomenon to something else. Full scan, Lieutenant. I want to know everything about that anomaly before we get any closer. Chen's voice carried the quiet authority that had earned her crew's unwavering loyalty. The bridge crew worked in practiced harmony, each member contributing their expertise to unraveling the mystery before them. Dr. Maya Patel, the ship's chief scientist, joined Rodriguez at his station, her expertise in xenophysics proving invaluable as they analyzed the data. Captain, the energy pattern, it's structured. Too regular to be natural, Patel reported, her voice tight with excitement and apprehension. And it's moving toward us. Before Chen could respond, the ship's communication system crackled to life with a signal that defied their understanding of physics. The sound that emerged was like nothing human ears had ever heard, yet somehow translated itself directly into their minds. Children of Earth, be welcomed. The voice was neither male nor female, young nor old. We are the Voidborn, and we have been waiting for you. The bridge fell silent as a massive vessel materialized before them, its surface seeming to bend light around it in impossible ways. It was beautiful in its alienness, all curved lines and shimmering surfaces that seemed to exist in more dimensions than human eyes could process. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the United Nations, Starship Zenith, Chen responded, maintaining her composure despite the unprecedented situation. We come in peace, seeking to expand our understanding of the galaxy. The response came with what felt like amusement. We know why you come, children. We have watched your species grow, struggle, reach for the stars. We offer you guidance, knowledge, advancement beyond your dreams. Chen exchanged glances with her senior staff. First contact protocols existed, but nothing could have prepared them for this. The Voidborn seemed to represent everything humanity had hoped to find among the stars, advanced beings willing to share their knowledge. Over the next 72 hours, the Zenith's crew engaged in what seemed like a promising cultural exchange. The Voidborn shared glimpses of technology that bordered on magical, offered solutions to Earth's overcrowding crisis, and spoke of a galactic community waiting to embrace humanity. Chen maintained her cautious optimism, but something nagged at her instincts. The Voidborn were too perfect, their offers too generous. She had just finished recording her daily log, expressing these concerns, when everything changed. The attack came without warning. One moment, the Zenith was preparing to receive a delegation of Voidborn representatives. The next, invisible forces ripped through the ship's supposedly impenetrable shields like they were tissue paper. Emergency sirens blared as multiple systems failed simultaneously. All hands, battle stations. Chen's command cut through the chaos. But it was already too late. The Voidborn's true nature revealed itself as their beautiful vessel transformed, its elegant curves becoming sharp predatory angles. Such predictable creatures. The Voidborn's voice now carried a cold edge that sent chills down Chen's spine. Always so eager to trust, to believe in benevolent superiors waiting to guide you. Your species will make an excellent addition to our collection. The bridge crew fought desperately to regain control of their dying ship, but the Voidborn's technology was beyond their comprehension. One by one, Systems failed as an invisible force began to pull the Zenith toward the alien vessel's now gaping maw. "Lock down all sensitive data," Chen ordered, her mind racing through options that dwindled by the second. "Initiate Protocol Omega. Get that distress signal out." Lieutenant Rodriguez worked frantically at his station, even as strange energy began to seep through the ship's hull. "Message away, Captain, but they're blocking most of our transmission." Chen watched as her crew began to collapse around her, victims of some invisible weapon. As her own consciousness began to fade, she caught a glimpse of her reflection in a darkened screen. Her last thought was a promise. This would not be the end of their story. The UNSS Zenith, pride of Earth's fleet, vanished into the voidborne vessel, its crew helpless as their ship was swallowed whole. The only trace of their existence was a fragmented distress signal, carrying a warning that would reach Earth too late to prevent what was coming. But the Voidborn had made a crucial mistake. They had assessed humanity's technology, their weapons, their defenses. What they failed to evaluate was the one force that had driven humans from cave-dwelling primates to starfaring civilization: the sheer, unstoppable determination to survive, adapt, and overcome. They would learn this error very, very slowly. Consciousness returned to Captain Chen like shards of broken glass, each sensation sharp and painful. The first thing she noticed was the cold, not the freezing void of space, but something worse. Clinical, artificial. Her eyes opened to walls of transparent material that seemed to shift between solid and liquid states. The cell, if it could be called that, was roughly 10 meters square. Within it, several members of her crew lay unconscious on surfaces that emerged seamlessly from the floor. Dr. Patel was already awake, methodically checking the vital signs of their unconscious companions. "Status, Doctor." Chen's voice was hoarse, her throat raw as if she'd been screaming. 15 crew members in this cell, Captain. All alive, but showing signs of severe neural shock. Patel's scientific detachment was betrayed by the slight tremor in her hands. "They've modified us somehow." Chen felt it then. Subtle changes in her body that sent waves of horror through her mind. Her neural implants, standard issue for starship captains, had been altered. She could feel foreign elements integrated into her nervous system, spreading like digital roots through her consciousness. "Captain." Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice came from an adjacent cell. "They're coming." The Voidborn appeared without warning, simply existing where moments before there had been nothing. Up close, they were even more alien, their forms suggesting humanoid shape while defying any attempt at detailed observation. Looking directly at them caused visual distortions that made Chen's modified brain scream in protest. The integration proceeds as expected, one of them observed, its thoughts bypassing verbal communication entirely. This batch shows remarkable adaptation rates. Remarkable resistance as well, another noted. The neural modifications triggered 47 escape attempts during unconsciousness. Previous species averaged 3. Chen filed that information away. Even unconscious, humans fought back. "Good. What do you want from us?" she demanded, forcing herself to stare directly at their shifting forms despite the pain it caused. "Understanding." They responded in unison. "Your species possesses unique traits. Adaptability, aggression, innovation under pressure. You will help us understand these qualities." The testing began that day. The Voidborn would present challenges, complex mathematical problems, strategic scenarios, survival situations. Success meant neural rewards that felt like pure euphoria. Failure meant pain beyond description. But humans, Chen discovered, were not alone in this facility. Through the shifting walls of their cells, they glimpsed other species, some humanoid, others completely alien. All were subjects of the Voidborn's endless experiments. As weeks became months, Chen and her crew began to understand the true nature of their captivity. The Voidborn weren't simply studying them. They were trying to distill the essence of humanity's survival traits. Each test, each modification, was designed to push them to their limits and beyond. "They're making mistakes, Dr. Patil whispered during one rest period, her cybernetic enhancements glowing softly beneath her skin. The modifications they're giving us, they're not just for monitoring. They're tools. She was right. The neural implants meant to control them also gave them unprecedented access to voidborn technology. The biological modifications designed to keep them alive through testing made them stronger, faster, more resilient. With each improvement, the voidborn added to their potential arsenal. Lieutenant Rodriguez, his tactical training enhanced by forced evolution, began to see patterns in the facility's security systems. They're so advanced, they've forgotten the basics of warfare, he observed. They don't guard against simple solutions because they can't conceive of us using them. The crew of the Zenith adapted, learned, and planned. They developed their own sign language, undetectable by the Voidborn's monitoring systems. They tested the limits of their cells, mapping weaknesses. Most importantly, they maintained their humanity, supporting each other, sharing knowledge, keeping hope alive. Other species noticed. A crystalline being Chen named Prism began mimicking their exercise routines. A gaseous entity they called Whisper learned their sign language. Slowly, carefully, an interspecies resistance began to form. The Voidborn remained oblivious, their arrogance blinding them to the changes in their specimens. They continued their tests, gathering data, never realizing they were providing their captives with the means of their own destruction. 6 months into their captivity, during a particularly brutal testing session, Chen made a discovery that changed everything. The pain-inducing neural triggers could be reversed. What was meant to control them could be turned into weapons. "We need to be careful," she told her crew during their next rest period. "If we move too quickly, show too much progress, they'll realize what's happening. We need time." Time they used well. Each crew member specialized in different aspects of their forced evolution. Dr. Patil mastered the biological modifications, learning to manipulate their new cellular structures. Rodriguez focused on weaponizing their neural implants, turning pain receptors into combat advantages. The Voidborn, in their scientific fascination, had created something they never intended. A human crew evolved beyond normal limitations, their bodies and minds enhanced by alien technology, their determination to survive hardened by months of torture and testing. But their greatest weapon remained unchanged, the human spirit that refused to break, the ability to find hope in despair, and the unwavering desire for freedom that had driven their species to the stars in the first place. As Chen watched her crew grow stronger, she began to understand that the Voidborn's greatest mistake wasn't in giving them the tools for resistance. It was in assuming that humanity, once broken, would stay broken. They would learn differently. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon. And when they did, the price of survival would be paid not by the captives, but by their captors. A year into their captivity, Captain Chen barely resembled the officer who had first commanded the Zenith. Her body, like those of her crew, had become a hybrid of human biology and Voidborn technology. Neural pathways pulsed with artificial enhancements, while engineered cellular structures gave her strength and reflexes far beyond human norm. But the most significant changes weren't physical. They've made a fundamental error in their testing methodology, Dr. Patil explained during one of their silent communication sessions. Her fingers moved in the elaborate sign language they'd developed, while her eyes tracked the shifting patterns of their cell walls. "They're testing us individually, but humans are social creatures. Our true strength comes from cooperation." Chen nodded, watching as Rodriguez demonstrated a new discovery to a small group of crew members. He had found a way to redirect the neural pain signals, transforming agony into heightened awareness. How many of the others have mastered the pain conversion? 17 so far, Patil signed. But that's not the most interesting development. She gestured toward their neighboring cells, where other species watched Rodriguez's lesson with obvious interest. "They're learning from us. Not just our techniques, but our approach to resistance." The interspecies network they built had grown beyond simple communication. The crystalline being they called Prism had proven invaluable. its natural ability to refract energy helping them understand the Voidborn's power systems. Whisper, the gaseous entity, could navigate the facility's ventilation system, gathering intelligence about their captor's movements. We're becoming something new, Chen realized, watching her crew interact with their alien allies. Not just enhanced humans, but a true synthesis of multiple species' strengths. The Voidborn's testing continued, growing more elaborate as they pushed their subjects toward ever higher levels of performance. They remained blind to the fact that each new challenge, each forced evolution, only served to make their captives stronger. During one particularly demanding test, Chen found herself facing a combat simulation against what appeared to be a modified version of herself. The Voidborn watched with clinical interest as she fought her duplicate, their instruments recording every movement, every decision. But Chen had long since learned to see beyond the obvious. While her enhanced body engaged in combat, her modified neural networks detected patterns in the simulation's code. Each strike, each defensive move, revealed more about how the Voidborn's technology functioned. They don't understand the difference between adaptation and evolution, she later explained to her crew. They see our changes as simple responses to stimuli. They don't realize we're actively directing our own transformation. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A young engineer named Yuki Tanaka, whose talent for systems integration had earned her a place on the Zenith's crew, discovered that their neural implants could interface directly with the facility's infrastructure. The walls aren't just walls. She demonstrated her neural signals causing subtle ripples in their cell structure. Everything here is connected through a quantum network. If we can understand it, we can control it, Rodriguez finished, his tactical mind already seeing the possibilities. The next phase of their resistance took shape with careful precision. While the Voidborn continued their tests, the crew of the Zenith began a different kind of evolution. They learned to merge their consciousness with the facility's systems, their enhanced minds exploring the quantum architecture that surrounded them. Other species contributed their own unique perspectives. A silicon-based life form they dubbed Matrix taught them how to process quantum data streams. A collective intelligence of microscopic organisms, which the crew named Legion, showed them how to distribute their consciousness across multiple systems. The Voidborn, in their scientific arrogance, had created the perfect environment for unprecedented cooperation between species. Each test, each modification, each new piece of technology they introduced was analyzed, understood, and repurposed by their increasingly sophisticated captives. We're not just surviving anymore, Chen observed during a rare moment of privacy with her senior staff. We're transcending their expectations entirely. The evidence of their evolution was undeniable. Crew members could now communicate telepathically through their neural networks. Their enhanced bodies could adapt to extreme conditions in real time. Most importantly, their understanding of Voidborn technology had reached a level that would have seemed impossible months earlier. But with each advancement came new challenges. The more they evolved, the harder it became to maintain their humanity. Chen watched as her crew struggled with their transformations, their bodies and minds pushing the boundaries of what could still be called human. We haven't lost ourselves, she reassured them during group sessions. We've expanded what it means to be human. Our ability to adapt, to grow, to maintain our essential nature even as we change. That's what makes us who we are. The Voidborn continued their observations, recording data, running analyses, completely unaware that their laboratory had become a crucible of revolution. Their test subjects were no longer merely surviving their experiments. They were using them as stepping stones toward liberation. As their first year of captivity drew to a close, Chen gathered her crew for a silent council. Their bodies hummed with alien technology, their minds linked through quantum networks, their spirits unbroken despite everything they'd endured. We're almost ready, she told them, her thoughts flowing through their shared consciousness. The Voidborn wanted to understand human evolution. Soon, they'll experience it firsthand. The price of their survival had been high, but the return on that investment would shake the foundations of the galaxy. The escape began with a whisper. Not a sound, but rather the alien they'd named Whisper, its gaseous form threading through the facility's quantum-linked ventilation system, carrying messages between cells. After 18 months of captivity, the combined species resistance was ready to move. Captain Chen stood in her cell, her enhanced body humming with controlled energy. Around her, her crew waited in perfect stillness, their minds linked through the neural network they'd repurposed from their captor's technology. All sections report ready. Rodriguez's thoughts flowed through their shared consciousness. His tactical expertise had been crucial in planning this moment. Every detail had been calculated, every contingency considered. Legion confirms optimal positioning, Dr. Patel added. The microscopic collective had spent weeks gradually infiltrating key systems throughout the facility, preparing for this moment. Chen took a deep breath, feeling the artificial enhancements in her lungs process the air with superhuman efficiency. Begin Operation Prometheus. The first phase was subtle. Legion, guided by Matrix's quantum processing capabilities, began introducing minute errors into the facility's environmental systems. Temperature fluctuations, barely noticeable. Slight variations in gravity, the kind of anomalies that would register as routine maintenance issues. The Voidborn responded exactly as predicted, their protocols so deeply ingrained they never questioned the pattern. Security systems diverted power to environmental control. Monitoring routines shifted focus. They're so advanced, they've forgotten how to think simply, Chen had observed during planning. They look for complex problems because they can't conceive of primitive solutions. The second phase triggered when the facility's automated systems began standard diagnostic procedures. Prism, the crystalline entity, used its natural properties to refract the quantum energy flows, creating microscopic blind spots in the Voidborn's oversight. Through these gaps, Yuki Tanaka's reprogrammed neural implants began accessing the facility's deeper systems, not to control them, that would have triggered alarms, but to understand them, to become them. The Voidborn's first indication that something was wrong came when their specimens began to disappear. Not physically, but from their monitoring systems. One by one, cell after cell simply ceased to register in their data streams. Security breach in Sector 7, the facility's automated systems announced. But by then, it was too late. The cells didn't break or shatter. They simply shifted, their quantum structure recognizing their occupants as authorized parts of the system. The barriers that had held them became extensions of their own enhanced bodies. Chen led her crew through corridors that rippled like liquid metal, their movements synchronized through their shared neural network. Other species joined them, each contributing their unique abilities to the escape. Prism bent light around them, while Whisper disrupted security sensors. The Voidborn finally appeared, their fluid forms radiating waves of confusion and alarm. They had never encountered resistance like this, specimens using their own technology against them with an understanding that should have been impossible. You sought to understand human evolution. Chen projected her thoughts directly into their consciousness. You're about to experience it firsthand. The battle that followed defied conventional physics. The crew's enhanced bodies moved with impossible speed, their neural networks processing tactical data faster than the Voidborn security systems could respond. Legion swarmed through quantum circuits, disrupting communications. Matrix calculated attack vectors through 11 dimensions. But it was the human element that proved decisive. The Voidborn had enhanced their captives' bodies and minds, but had failed to understand the one thing that made humans unique: their ability to improvise, to take disparate pieces, and create something entirely new. The crew fought not as individuals, but as a single organism, their shared consciousness coordinating actions across multiple dimensions of space. Each person's strengths complemented the others, while their alien allies provided capabilities beyond human comprehension. The Zenith, Rodriguez called through their neural link. They're keeping it in the primary storage chamber. Chen redirected their assault, leading the combined force toward their ship. The Voidborn had modified the Zenith during their captivity, integrating their technology into its systems. They had intended it as another experiment. Instead, they had created the perfect escape vessel. The ship's quantum signature recognized them instantly, its enhanced systems resonating with their modified bodies. The crew merged with their stations as if they had never left, their consciousness extending through the ship's neural networks. "They're mobilizing their defense fleet," Tanaka reported, her mind interfaced directly with the ship's sensors, detecting multiple vessels converging on our position. Chen smiled, feeling the Zenith's power flow through her enhanced nervous system. "Show them what evolution really means." The ship responded to their collective will, its modified systems operating at levels the Voidborn had never intended. Quantum drives engage, ripping holes in reality itself. Weapons systems, augmented by 18 months of forced advancement, fired streams of concentrated possibility. The Voidborn's defensive line shattered. Their ships, designed to fight conventional battles, found themselves facing a vessel that operated beyond the bounds of their scientific understanding. The Zenith didn't just fight. It adapted, each encounter making it stronger, more efficient. "Multiple pursuit craft launching," Rodriguez reported. "They're not giving up." "They don't know how," Chen responded. "That's the difference between us. They experiment. We evolve." The Zenith burst through the facility's final defenses, carrying not just its human crew but representatives of a dozen species, each contributing their unique perspectives to its operation. Behind them, the Voidborn's facility erupted in quantum fire as carefully planted Legion colonies triggered a cascade of system failures. As they engaged their quantum drives for the long journey home, Chen looked at her crew, human and alien alike. Their bodies pulsed with engineered improvements, their minds linked in ways that defied traditional consciousness. They had entered captivity as explorers. They were leaving as something entirely new. They wanted to understand humanity's potential. She broadcast to their shared consciousness. Instead, they helped us exceed it. Now we bring that knowledge home. The Zenith vanished into quantum space, leaving behind a facility in chaos and a species learning, far too late, that some specimens refused to be contained. Earth's defense command erupted in chaos when the Zenith appeared at the edge of the solar system. The ship's quantum signature was familiar yet fundamentally altered, its systems radiating power that defied conventional physics. 2 years had passed since its disappearance, and humanity had changed in that time, driven by the warning fragment they'd received before losing contact. Admiral Helena Santos stood in the command center, watching as the vessel approached. Earth's defense fleet moved to intercept, their weapons primed. "Life signs," she demanded. "Unknown, Admiral," her sensor officer replied. "We're detecting something, but the readings don't make sense." The Zenith's transmission cut through their uncertainty. "Earth Defense Command, this is Captain Sarah Chen of the UNSS Zenith. Authentication code, Chen Alpha 709. Santos felt her breath catch. That code was 2 years old, but valid. "Captain Chen," she responded. "You and your crew were declared lost with all hands. Where have you been?" "Admiral." Chen's voice carried an odd resonance, as if multiple people were speaking in perfect synchronization. "We've brought back a warning and a solution. Request immediate clearance for myself and my senior staff. What we have to share changes everything." The debriefing room fell silent as Chen finished her presentation. Her enhanced body, gleaming with subdermal tech, was the least shocking thing she'd revealed. The Voidborn, their experiments, the escaping crew's transformation, it all painted a picture that redefined humanity's place in the galaxy. "They're coming," Chen concluded. "The Voidborn see Earth as their next laboratory. But we've brought back everything we need to stop them." Admiral Santos studied the quantum data streams flowing from the modified Zenith. "You're proposing we upgrade our entire defense force with this technology. Transform our people like you were transformed." "No," Chen smiled, her neural implants pulsing softly. "I'm proposing we do what humans do best. Take what we've learned and make it better." The next 6 months saw Earth transform. The Zenith's crew, along with their alien allies, shared their knowledge. But instead of simply copying the Voidborn's technology, humanity's scientists and engineers began innovating, improving, evolving the designs in ways their original creators never imagined. Quantum shipyards produced vessels that could think and adapt. Defense platforms learned to bend reality itself. And most importantly, humanity began to understand its own potential. They're approaching the outer system, Rodriguez reported from the Zenith's tactical station. A year had passed since their return, and the Voidborn had finally arrived. Their harvest fleet darkened space itself, their ships massive beyond comprehension. But Earth was ready. The combined Earth defense fleet moved to engage, their ships piloted by crews who had voluntarily accepted modified versions of the Zenith crew's enhancements. Each vessel was a unique synthesis of human ingenuity and alien technology, guided by minds that operated beyond normal space-time. The Voidborn's transmission carried their familiar clinical tone. Specimens of Earth. Your resistance is noted but unnecessary. Submit to collection. Resistance is noted but unnecessary. Submit to collection. Chen's response was broadcast from every human ship simultaneously. You wanted to study human evolution. Let us show you the results. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. The Voidborn's fleet, designed to harvest helpless civilizations, found themselves facing an enemy that understood their technology intimately and had improved upon it. Earth's ships moved like living things, quantum drives allowing them to exist in multiple positions simultaneously. Their weapons fired streams of concentrated possibility, guided by crews whose enhanced minds could calculate attack vectors through 11 dimensions. But it was the Zenith that led the charge. Chen's crew, together with their alien allies, had become something beyond what the Voidborn could comprehend. The ship itself had evolved, its systems a perfect fusion of multiple species' technologies and perspectives. Their breaking formation, Rodriguez announced as the Voidborn fleet began to scatter. Their command structure is collapsing. They don't understand, Chen observed. Her consciousness merged with her ship and crew. They thought they were studying our limits. Instead, they taught us how to transcend them. The Voidborn's retreat became a rout. Their mighty harvest fleet, faced with specimens that had turned their own technology against them, fled into quantum space. But humanity, led by the Zenith and its transformed crew, had no intention of stopping there. We know where their primary facility is. Chen transmitted to Earth Command. We know how it works, how to defeat it. More importantly, we know there are other species waiting to be freed. Admiral Santo's response was immediate. You have Earth's full support, Captain. Show them the true meaning of evolution. As the Zenith prepared to lead Earth's fleet on a campaign of liberation, Chen reflected on how far they'd come. The Voidborn had sought to understand humanity's potential through clinical observation and forced advancement. Instead, they had become an object lesson in why some specimens should never be underestimated. Send a message to the Voidborn, she commanded, feeling her crew's approval through their shared neural network. Tell them, the experiment is over. Now comes the revolution. The Zenith vanished into quantum space, leading humanity's armada on a mission of revenge and liberation. Behind them, Earth stood transformed, its people no longer merely reaching for the stars, but ready to reshape the galaxy itself. The Voidborn had wanted to study human evolution. Instead, they had become its catalyst, unleashing a force they could never have predicted or controlled. Humanity had not just survived their experiments, they had transcended them, emerging as something new, something more, yet still fundamentally human. And the galaxy would never be the same.